All right, guys. So here we go. Um, First live stream ever. This is huge. This is gonna be great. I was actually supposed to do a live stream originally when I got 1,000 subscribers in the first place, and I just didn't have the equipment at the time. But now I somewhat do. I'm actually using my phone. It's a much better camera, and it's the easiest way for me to do it. I already see a ton of comments here that I'm going to read. I'm going to get to. I just want to quickly give you a breakdown on how my live streams will work from time to time. Mostly, whatever I have on the thumbnail is what the topic of discussion is going to be. But that doesn't mean the entire live stream, however I'm on for it, needs to be based off of that. I'm down for conversation. You guys want to talk about anything? You let me know. You want it to be DC? It's DC. You want it to be film? It's film. You want to do sports? It's sports. I'm a sports guy as well. You want to do video games? We can do that. I am down for whatever. It's just usually what's on the thumbnail is what we're going to talk about first and what will potentially be a heavy conversation like it is today. Now, like I said, I can tell we have a lot of comments here that I'm going to read. I'm going to get to. And I have a lot of thoughts on what's going on with DC right now because, we should be in a situation where we're like on the same side, we're together, but for some reason we have like this side of DC attacking these fans attacking these fans. Like we are not in unison together. And that's really unfortunate because, you'd think we should be. You'd think that being DC fans, we've been separated for so long already that, we're why would we be separated now? All we want is a universe that we can all cling on to and love, and clearly that still is not happening. So, like I said, I have a ton of thoughts. I'm going to get into them. I just want to start at the top here with Donovan Martin. I'm going to just read some of your comments here. And I can already tell I know what you're talking about because me and him have had discussions about this. What has been happening does not make the Rock look any better. I'm not sure if I'm the only one seeing this, but has anyone noticed how protected the Flash film is? Nobody using common sense anymore, and we are just going along with what people in high positions are saying. I know it's Gunn's job to promote other movies, but I really don't believe it. Excuse me, sorry. Just so much gatekeeping with this movie, and people I called friends who I thought more highly of are disappointing me with how they are going about their Discord. Also, I love the Snyderverse trilogy poster, and that should finally and hopefully make all the toxic fans, Snyder fan bros, make all the toxic Snyder bros, something, what does that say? Something about harmful discord about this topic as well, because, let's be honest here, guys. Snyder fans can be pretty brutal. I consider myself a Snyder fan, but I'm not going to next level being an absolute prick about any of it, Okay, I absolutely agree. The Flash film, something is off for me on that movie. I know a lot of people may not agree with that, but there is just something about it that it's off, and I'm gonna get into it. Don't worry. So, Donovan, what's up? Hero Toys, what's up? Gumpy, what's up? Who else we got? AMD, what's up? Diesel Demon, what's up? Josiah the Brain, what's up? Hannah, what's up? Anna Lacandro, what is up? What is up, everybody? So now that we have a solid amount of people in here, I guess I should get started on some of my thoughts. And Hero Toys, cool Superman, Red Sun Toys, thank you. Wonder Woman, I don't think you can really see her. No, it doesn't look like you can. Half of Superman, and then there's Batman right there. Okay. Let's see. Let's go. Let's start with Shazam flopping. So first of all, if you guys want, you can take a look at my Shazam review video what I thought of it. I'll be honest with you here. If you haven't seen that, I'm not a fan of it. I'm sorry, guys. I'm really not. I gave it a 4 out of 10, as harsh as that might be. It's how I feel about the movie. And I'm not going to dive too deep into my thoughts on how or why I feel the way I do about that film. You can go check out that video for yourself. I don't want to repeat myself. But I mean, DC's in such a tough situation right now where they just released another DC movie, and look how it's doing. It's terrible. I have the box office numbers here right now. Take these numbers in, okay? So the domestic opening over the first weekend, it brings in $30 million. All right, just a little over $30 million. So far domestically, all time as of right now, March 25th, domestically, it is at 38 million, almost 39 million. Internationally, it's 34 million. And worldwide, it is 73 million. It's not good. That's not good. I mean, I don't know if there's a record for worst opening of all time for a superhero film. Maybe this is it. This is not pretty. Do you guys know what it made yesterday, March 24th, Friday? Any of you guys know how much the movie it made yesterday? How much it brought into the box office yesterday? And see, I'm going to wait for a comment here, see if anyone comments it. I laughed when I saw it. It's sad. Yeah, AMD, $10. Yeah, exactly. Might as well have at this point. Yes, Enterprises, that's it. 2.3 million on a Friday, on a weekend. A weekend. Like Friday, if you're not going out, not, clubbing it up, I don't know what you're doing. You're sitting here, you're like, maybe me and the girl, or me and my boyf, or me and the boys, or maybe a whole group of us will go to the movies and, another superhero movie, as if we don't have enough. But another one, Shazam 2? Yeah, no one thought that. No one is doing that. And the biggest issue coming from this is how the actors are responding to this movie, and very specifically one actor, and that would be Zachary Levi. He can cloud it however he wants. He really is not taking this the best. He's just not. He's not handling this properly. 1 minute, it's so hard to follow along. 1 minute, he's blaming people for not seeing the movie. The next minute, he's blaming anyone who's a fan of Snyder for not seeing your movie. Then all of a sudden, he's blaming the fact that superhero movies are dark, as if we don't actually get enough darker superhero films, in my opinion. But that's what he's blaming it on now. It's bad. It's all over the place. There is no accountability with this movie, okay? Zachary Levi has stated that he believes they made a good movie. David Sandberg, the director, has stated he believes they've made a good movie. But I have not yet seen anyone from that cast man up and say, look, we might have just simply made a bad film or not that great of a film. Even if I view it to be good or they view it to be good or whatever, whoever views it to be good, that's fine. But maybe as a whole, the consensus, it's just not a good movie. Now, of course, there are so many actual reasons why this movie is not succeeding right now, outside of the excuses that Zachary Levi has laid out. Most likely, lack of promotion. The fact that James Gunn announces a new DCU in the midst of the DCEU still having movies, and we are still 2 years away from James Gunn's DCU. The fact that a lot of these movies have been delayed and reshot so many times, there is a vision that directors have for these films, but Warner Brothers keeps getting in the way and telling them they can and can't do things. The things they can do, they don't want to do, and the things they want to do, Warner Brothers says they can't do. There are so many reasons. The promotional aspect, even though there wasn't a lot, like I said, but the fact that for TV spots, a week before the movie came out, they were already promoting Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman in the film. I mean, I guess in a way it's like, yeah, maybe we should expect a bigger name to be in these movies, but don't you want to be surprised? Don't you want to have kind of like a shock value? And from what I've heard, David Sandberg, the director himself, did not even know that's what they were going to do. This is once again Warner Brothers getting their nasty, grubby little fingers in areas that they shouldn't. You hire these people to make these movies for a reason. Stop getting in the way. Stop getting in the middle of it. Stop ruining these visions. Anyways, so, yeah, I agree, Gumpy. It is stupid. It's just weird. And Donovan, I absolutely agree too. I love, though, Grace Fulton speaks on the Mary character, and she's very passionate about it. I hope she sticks around in Gunn's universe. I agree, 100%. She's a great Mary Marvel. And the thing about her, as an actress, that is, when she's talking about the movie, she's not ripping on any of the fan bases. She's not ripping on people for not going to the movie to see their movie. She's simply talking about her character and how much she loves the character. She's not she's not burning bridges with the fan base, which that's what Zachary Levi is doing right now. And it's not pretty for him. It's just, yeah, it's not good, because I know a lot of people are sitting here thinking they want him to be Shazam in the DCU, and there's a piece of me that really wouldn't mind that. That's no problem with me. I think that's pretty good. But at the same time, keep up this attitude, and I don't really know how that's going to happen for you. Once again, I mean, I don't know how you look at this film and say 73 million worldwide in its first week and a half. Will it even make its money back? You know, it's just, what a weird situation we're in with Shazam. I didn't think it was going to be terrible, but I don't know. And Carm, more importantly, your jacket is fire. Thank you. I know. Lack of communication, Donovan. Absolutely. I agree. 100%. You know, even Hunter says, T.M.M, is there comic book movie fatigue? Yes, in some way, I do believe there is. I even mentioned this in my Shazam review as well, that there's fatigue, but I don't know if it's all superhero fatigue. I think it is simply just mediocre superhero fatigue. And once again, I know, I'm sorry if you liked the Shazam movie, you're not going to like me saying, you know, stuff like that. And I apologize. I'm taking it for what it is, and I'm seeing the market and the saturation right now with these B and C class characters getting their own standalone movies that really have no bearing on the future of the DC universe moving forward. And I think the reason why we can get Batmans and we should be getting Supermans, and why we're getting, or why we should be getting Wonder Woman, is those top tier characters. Those are characters where it seems a lot of the times the impact of a universe, where they're going with their world, a lot of the times it surrounds those characters, whereas all these BC class characters, they just make movies about them with no serious consequences for the future. And I think that is what people are getting tired of. They're getting tired of the typical, I say this all the time, Superhero with powers superhero with powers gets beaten by the villain. Then halfway, or near the end of the film, they come back, they beat the villain, and then the movie ends just the way the movie began. It is getting boring. I know for myself, I'm getting bored of it. I want to see more consequences. I want to see more implications. I want to see the stakes of these movies, personal or joined, like a Justice League or something. I want to see these movies mean a lot more. Okay. I think that's all I got for the Shazam topic. Now, what do I got here? Yes, well, not completely done with the Shazam topic. The AMD, $11. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. You did not have to do that. That is a huge donation. Thank you very much. Once again, I'm going to get to your chats more when I'm done spewing here, but I got a lot I want to talk about. Okay, spewing might have been poor choice of words. Sorry. The hit piece on Dwayne Johnson. This interesting. I saw Grace Randolph. Say what you will about her. If you like her sources, you don't. If you like her as a person or you don't. I don't agree with. I want to honestly say 70 to 80% of the things she says. This one particular time, though, I absolutely did. I mean, look, Dwayne Johnson, he's not completely innocent in this situation. He did try for a power grab. I mean, who wouldn't, though? I would. Are you kidding me? If I had a DC movie opening in the midst of anarchy within Warner Brothers, people are getting fired. They're getting booted out the door. You got DC filmmakers not even understanding why they're making the movie they're making anymore. Delays and cancellations and all this stuff. I would absolutely try to make a power grab for DC. I can't necessarily blame the guy for doing that. Although, this is where the but comes in. This is where the although comes in. It's potentially how he was handling the takeover of DC that was severely in question. I mean, it is a little embarrassing to potentially look back at the, I'm Dwayne Rock Johnson, I'm playing Black Adam, and here's where the hierarchy of the DC universe officially changes. Yeah, it changed all right, and certainly not to you, not the way you wanted. Now, I think a couple of weird and bad decisions he did do is he didn't take advantage of the fact that he is a Shazam villain. And yes, Black Adam can be an anti-hero of some sort. He's not always completely evil. Sometimes he does things for the greater good. And I understand that is what Dwayne was going for in his rendition of Black Adam. He still had that mean streak in him, though, that could do terrible things. I'm not gonna lie, I enjoyed that movie. I thought that movie was solid. I thought it was maybe I give it a 7 out of 10. If I look back on the movie now, maybe it's a 6. Yeah, AMD, Dwayne is loaded and has a lot of influence. That is absolutely the case. And I think one of the biggest issues is you had an opportunity to make basically Black Adam versus Shazam, Dawn of Justice. You in a way had a way to make Black Adam versus Shazam the way you did Batman versus Superman. You guys can't see it, but I got a poster of Batman versus Superman right here. Anyways, they had that chance to do it. And I think that would have been better for the whole brand because that would have helped people, general audiences, people who aren't like us, who don't know DC potentially inside and out or just don't know DC as well as we might. This would have helped them show that, hey, there is another rivalry out there in the DC universe, and they go by the names of Black Adam and Shazam, or Captain Marvel. They are basically the exact same person with very similar abilities, just polar opposites. Shazam is a immature kid, and Black Adam is this hardened, aggressive terrorist killer, essentially killer nonetheless. And they had the opportunity to have another two big heavy hitters in the DC universe go up against one another, but instead Dwayne was trying to give something that a lot of the fans wanted again, which was Henry Cavill coming back as Superman, which is absolutely something I wanted. I wanted to see Henry Cavill back. And the teasing of him at the end of Black Adam just leaves a lot left open. There's so much we wanted to see. Now, I think the problem becomes there is, is Black Adam a Superman villain? Meh. They fight from time to time, but they're not categorized as arch enemies. Even if you wanted to do a Black Adam versus Shazam and Superman, they could have done that popular comic or that popular animated film in live action. And where I will agree with Zachary Levi and David Sandberg is that Dwayne really seemed to kibosh that whole idea that Shazam, was not allowed to appear in his movie and vice versa. He didn't want to do that. And I don't necessarily agree with that, because that's basically like saying, a new Batman trilogy tells everybody, or sorry, that's like saying, I'm making a Batman trilogy and I tell Warner Brothers and DC, yeah, I don't want Joker part of my world at all. I don't even want him seen. That's their arch enemy, man. I mean, you have to have done something with it. Anyways, my whole point though about this Dwayne Johnson situation, I'm sorry. Whereas maybe he locked down some things, maybe he didn't want everything connected to his Black Adam. Maybe he wanted to wait for the Shazam matchup and relationship. Maybe that's wrong, and I agree. There's definitely some truth to that. I don't really agree with what Dwayne was doing there, but overall, do not put a hit piece on Dwayne Johnson, blaming him for the failure of Shazam 2. Do you really think a connection to Black Adam, Dwayne Johnson's Black Adam, would have saved this movie in any way? And by the way, a Dwayne Johnson Black Adam that is canceled now. How would a canceled sneak peek, cameo, or representation of Black Adam in Shazam have helped this movie at all? There's nothing to do with Dwayne Johnson. That article made me so mad, not just because I'm a Dwayne Johnson lover, just because it's not fair. How do you blame that on the guy? It does not make sense at all. So once again, what is this? This is Warner Brothers refusing to admit their faults. This is Warner Brothers refusing to admit, hey, we messed up on so many occasions. Promotion, handling of the film, this whole new DCU talk way before we should be talking about a DCU. It's Warner Brothers' issue. But for some reason, they sit here and they say, nah, we're going to blame this straight on Black Adam. Are you kidding me? Really? That's the situation we're going to find ourselves in? It's BS, in my opinion. I want to read some of the comments here. Let me see. Well, first of all, Carm, thank you so much for the $13.99. Keep these coming. I really appreciate it. Very nice of you. And once again, thank you everyone. I got 20 viewers in here. This is really big for me. Thanks for joining in. And yeah, a lot of what I'm reading from the chat here is, we're all in agreement. That article is terrible. It is a hit piece. It's trying to take away responsibility from themselves, as if that company isn't already terrible, because Warner Brothers is by far one of the worst production companies I've ever seen in my life. As if they aren't already terrible, that made them look worse. And, they got to be so lucky that Dwayne Johnson has not come out to say anything, because he hasn't yet. He has kept his mouth shut. And Donovan Martin absolutely pinning this message. WB equals refuses to accept responsibility. That is what the situation we are in is. Take this for another. I think I even have this written down. I do. It's the point right after, conveniently. Peter Safran, the co-CEO of DC Studios. He produced this movie. Okay? The co-CEO of DC Studios produced Shazam 2. Where's his speech been? What has he said about this situation? Why is there radio silence? In fact, between him and Gunn. Why are they not talking about this? Yeah, exactly, Donovan. Nothing. There's been nothing. How? Okay. Follow along if you can. How can you blame Dwayne Johnson? I'm not saying he's perfect. I'm not saying that the fall of this DCU certainly, maybe he shares some of the fault here. But how can you blame the failure of Shazam 2 on Dwayne Johnson, a man who had nothing to do with the Shazam movie, but your co-CEO of DC Studios produced this movie, and you're not going to make an article about him saying, maybe Safran's got it wrong. Maybe he's not doing it right. Maybe once again they need another change-up. Now, look, I'm not trying to throw Safran under the bus, but how can you throw shade at somebody who had nothing to do with the project, but a guy who has something to do with the project, you don't even mention his name? Once again, this is Warner Brothers PR. This is them trying to hide the fact that, look, James Gunn and Peter Safran, we don't want them hurt. We don't want them touched right now. Let's just try and hide the fact that he did produce this movie. Not one review, not one article, not one video have I seen about this film where they've talked about Peter Safran, the producer of Shazam. Not once. I don't think many people realize that Peter Safran produced this movie, and he's getting no blame. This guy is scot-free, hands behind his back, hands behind his back, legs crossed, sipping on whatever he wants to sip on, cigar in his mouth, nothing. He's getting none of the blowback. None of the blame is going on him. So, and Donovan, a lot of like people like us will absolutely know that he was involved, but there's still a lot of people who don't, so it's just really unfortunate situation. I mean, I can't stress enough, Dwayne Johnson is not perfect. Not perfect at all. He's not. But how you know what? I might as well blame Ben Affleck for the failure or for the semi-failure of Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey. Ben Affleck's Batman, right? Ben Affleck is a director, producer. He was potentially connected to Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey. we might as well blame him for it too. It's so stupid. There's no accountability. Warner Brothers is such, I'm going to say it, a piss poor company. They are so bad. Yeah, they're so bad. They don't deserve this IP anymore. They really don't. They've been messing it up ever since Dark Knight Rises, Man of Steel. That's a long time. That's 10 years long, if not longer. Exactly. Donovan, you're hitting it. You're hitting it with these comments, man. Let's blame Cavill for the entire DCEU. That's how crazy it is. Yeah. Yeah. Kind of speechless because that's been just kind of racking in my brain all day, or for the past week that this has happened, and I could not believe that is how far they stooped, that they went to attack Dwayne Johnson for a movie that he wasn't even part of. Meanwhile, you have the DC studio CEO, half of them at least. Anyways, okay, next point. What we got here? Yeah, Warner Brothers, new blood, but same attitude. It seems like every single person they hire in this company is just the thing that Josiah the Brain, the thing that makes me scared for the DCU is that Peter Safran is involved with a bad movie like Shazam 2. I mean, from what I know, Peter Safran is not, perfect in his movie making career as far as I'm concerned. I don't think he is. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments below how his movies look on something like IMDb. I trust that much more than Rotten Tomatoes. But yeah, Jay, just blow it up, to be honest. End of stream number 1. I agree. It's not good. Okay, anyways, so yeah, Warner Brothers, new blood, but same attitude. It's the same attitude with every single person they hire. It's lack of accountability. I don't think I've seen a CEO from Warner Brothers who has so far admitted to their mistakes, said it out loud in a presser or an article or whatever it may be, and admit, hey, you know what? We made some mistakes. We've had some bad attitudes. I hate using this word, but we've had a lot of toxicity in this company. We got to change things. No one's admitted that. No one has. And we're still getting it now. I don't understand how we can have James Gunn and Peter Safran heads of not just, now, because now there's a separate division. David Zaslav has made DC Studios. It's separate from Warner Brothers in a way. And even with the separate studio heads, Safran and Gunn, they still, they're not coming out about this movie and talking about it and admitting, look, there have been mistakes and this movie might be one of them. There's a lot of mistakes going on right now with how actors are talking openly. The fact that we mistakenly put out a hit piece on Dwayne Johnson. You guys are going to hate me for how much I'm saying this word, but there is no accountability, and it's terrible. Look how they treated Zack Snyder. Agree with Zack Snyder's movies or not, love or hate his movies, it does not matter to me. Just look at how they treated the man. Zack Snyder is such a likable dude. Watch any video with this guy, and I am convinced. I said this to someone the other day. I am absolutely convinced if Zack Snyder were to pass away, there would be people in Warner Brothers who would laugh at his grave. I am convinced there are people there who, whatever word you can use more than hatred and despise, that's how they feel about the man. And I have no idea why they do. I don't know why anyone would feel that way for anybody, but to Zack Snyder too, It's been happening so much. It's been happening for so long. Sorry, I need some water here. It's been happening so much over the course of 10 years. And, like, how do you look at this company? I don't care if you are director, producer, writer, actor, filmmaker, photographer, finance person, CEO. I don't care what you are. How does anybody look at Warner Brothers and DC and say, yeah, right there, that's a company I would be happy to work for? You're lying then. If that's what you say, you're lying. No one would want to work for this company right now. Its PR is awful. The people working in this studio is awful. I thought when Zaslav was canning and firing all these higher ups in the company, I thought things were going to get better. Clearly, this company still has a ton of people inside who are still causing terrible issues for it. And look, I might get hate for this. I'm not gonna 100% AMD. T.M.M, you should work for Warner Brothers DC. Clean it up. I would absolutely love to. And that's where this entire discourse is leading to, by the way. I have an opinion that many people may not like, but I would do it. We'll get to that coming up. Yeah, anyways, people may not like me for what I'm going to say here, but James Gunn, I think there are a couple things that James Gunn does, especially the way he acts on Twitter sometimes. I don't know how much I trust a guy like him being the heads of DC Studios. Now, I'm not one of those people, fire James Gunn, hashtag. I'm not doing that. I'm also not saying I don't believe Gunn can make decent movies. I'm not saying I don't trust Gunn at all. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is I'm cautious. I've been cautious about DC for a very long time. And yeah, Gumpy, no TMM. I don't want you to lose more of your hair over cleanup on that company. Yeah, maybe that wouldn't be a good idea. But it's just the attitude in Warner Brothers DC feels icky right now. It feels gross. It feels so high school. And that's great, Donovan. Very cautious optimism for the DC going forward. You got optimism, but you are still cautious, and I think that's appropriate. Caution is the term we should be using for DC moving forward, because there is no guarantee, right? But yeah, a lot of the attitudes in Warner Brothers DC right now feels very icky. It feels very gross. It feels very high school. It feels like at any moment, if they don't like you, even just as a person, they'll get all their high school cliques and groups to go after you and to shame you and to bully you to get everybody else to hate you. It's just not a good look. And I don't know why they're not trying to fix it. It's very odd. It's been going like this for a long time. And it is getting to the point where I'm getting sick of it. I can tell a lot of you in the chat right now are getting sick of it. There are millions of DC fans. Hey, might I say Marvel fans too. Any fan base in the world who just simply enjoys DC characters. So many of us are hating these attitudes and these personalities that come with the wrong people in charge of Warner Brothers. I'm not saying James Gunn, because we still need to see more from him, but just in general, these higher ups have been awful for so long. Exactly. Blobbles, I hope I'm saying your name right. I'm getting sick of it. Hero Toys, I'm also getting sick of it. It's too much. Okay. Now, what do we got next? So, I'm going to mix both these. First of all, I want to say once again, first live stream ever. Thank you everybody for being here. If you guys could click like on this live stream, it gets so many other people to notice it, to join in. Let's grow this community. Let's grow this passionate fan base that we got going on here. A bit of good news, of course. We have SnyderCon, and I'm a big fan of Snyder's movies. And I know a lot of you in this chat are, even, for some of you who don't like everything he's done, only like some things. I know that some of you people are good enough people to understand that Zack Snyder is just human. That's all he is. He's just a guy who has a certain passion for these characters and these franchises and just wants to make his vision come to life. Now, once again, thanks to Warner Brothers for absolutely destroying everything. Now, yeah, Donovan, I loved Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, Zack Snyder's Justice League. Agreed. The SnyderCon, if any of you here have not heard of it, it's a Snyder event, April 28th to April 30th, where he's going to be premiering Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, and Zack Snyder Justice League every single day. And there's going to be live question and answers. I think they're viewing it in like a IMAX theater as well. And then it also stated that they're going to have special guests. We don't know who those guests are to be exactly. There could be bigger names, smaller names. But regardless, this created a lot of buzz. And why, as I'm sure so many of you know, it's because not only does Zack Snyder have a massive fan base, some people who genuinely love Snyder and want to see his vision continued, and then other people who take it a little too far and are a little crazy boycotting anything DC in general, which I don't support, by the way. I like Snyder. I appreciate him, and I think he got a raw deal. But it's because of the fact of how mysterious and symbolic he's been with a lot of his posts lately. A lot of people are looking for any excuse to have this Zack Snyder be restored on the on Netflix, mind you. A lot of people want this. A lot of people want to see that, and I don't blame you. I would love to see it. I think there are so many things that do go in to licensing out these characters to another production company. I mean, would it help Warner Brothers in a sense because of how much debt they're in? Absolutely. But I'll just give it to you this way. This is just something I'm thinking of right now. Hey, if I'm wrong, if somehow the Snyderverse does get restored, insane. But let me put it to you this way. Why would Warner Brothers announce a DCU headlined by James Gunn, but then license off those same characters to Netflix, have Zack Snyder finish his vision, which a lot of people are passionate for, and then all of a sudden, his movies make more noise than the new DCU? Yeah, Warner Brothers doesn't want that. That's the last thing they want. That would not look good. That would not look good on them. I'm sorry. It wouldn't. It wouldn't. So, anyways, I'll put it that way. Anyways, let's meet the middle, 50-50, because I know if I say it's not going to happen, people are going to get mad, and I know if I say I would like it to happen, people are going to get mad. Let's just say 50-50. We never know what's going to happen. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. The poster he's put up, which is in my thumbnail currently, you can see a lot of symbolism, and there's a lot of hints that he has even mentioned in live streams from a couple days ago. He said there's going to be things that they're going to talk about that people do not know about for the future of the Snyderverse, if there is a future. Now, what I find very, very interesting is not just how much the fans are diving into some of the symbolism he's choosing in his videos and his pictures and his posters, because Zach is a symbolic dude. He likes to put a lot of foreshadow in his pictures and stuff. But it's how fast it sold. SnyderCon sold in under 5 minutes. And tickets were going for $175. It sold, an entire 3-day event sold quicker than one theater for Shazam 2 could sell out. That is showing the popularity of Snyder, his movies, and the fans. Look, for anyone who hates Zack Snyder for whatever reason, and for whoever may hate his world and the things he decided to do, to the point where like they actually wish terrible things for him, which is awful. Because the way that there's Snyder cultists, there are also fans who wish only terrible things for him, which is just as bad. But for anybody who does feel that way, it's like, guys, for people who support Zack Snyder, they're not asking for world dominance. They're just asking for a universe that was more than halfway being built, completed. How would you feel in that situation if you made a universe you were very passionate about, but all of a sudden, because of the stupidity of the production studio that this IP falls into, they cancel your universe? And then for the next 7 to 8 years, they absolutely do not know what to do with the IP and they've been stuck in a limbo. How would you feel if that was done to you? It's only fair. I'm not saying it's going to happen, or that even maybe it should happen, but I'm just saying, understand the situation. If maybe you've never thought about it that way, maybe do now. Like, there's no world domination, Snyder rules all. There's nothing like that going on. It's just the fact that a universe wasn't completed. And I don't understand why, for a lot of people, it would feel like this is the end of the world. It's like, I make the MCU, I make Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, the Hulk movie, but then all of a sudden Marvel and Disney say, yeah, we're going to cancel it, no Avengers film. You're just canceling something pre-established for no good reason at all. It's just, it's terrible. It's stupid. But anyways, the fact that this event sold out so quickly speaks volumes to his world, to his creativity, and to the people who have been begging for it to be continued. Now, Snyder has also said something really interesting in his live streams, that he actually thanked Warner Brothers. And a lot of people were like, oh, why is he thanking Warner Brothers? All Warner Brothers has ever done was screw him over with this stuff, you know? And yeah, 100%, they have. But he was talking about two very particular people who have been very kind to him and very personal to him. And that is Pamela Abdy and Michael DeLuca. Now, they were brought on to Warner Brothers to oversee greenlighting movies when David Zaslav became CEO of Warner Brothers. He brought them on about, I think, 2 or 3 months later. And Pamela and Michael were two people I was super excited for. I was so happy that they were joining Warner Brothers and overseeing green lights for DC movies. I had a lot of confidence in their talent, and I was hoping that they would maybe take a bigger role in DC. And they're a big reason why Henry Cavill ended up showing up again for Black Adam, and they're very supportive of Snyder's world and his work. And he specifically thanks them for making this event possible. And he goes into the discussion of, like, basically, I'm not saying giving you false hope, but he goes into this discussion of saying, hey, you never know what's possible for the Snyderverse in the future. I'm deep into my Rebel Moon world right now, but you never know, blah, blah, blah. Getting people excited, right? But it's just very interesting that you seem to have still in Warner Brothers people who loved his vision and people who don't like his vision and want nothing to do with him. I mean, I know a lot of people are saying that, James Gunn and Zack Snyder are friends, but how can we really take that from the mouth of James Gunn, considering how many times he has genuinely lied about things? He has lied about a lot of things. Ben Affleck is one. James Gunn could be one when he said that, Zack Snyder could be another lie when he said that Zack Snyder was supportive of his new world. We don't have that from Zack Snyder's mouth yet. Maybe it is true, maybe it's not. There's a couple things that James Gunn has lied about. He's not perfect. I'm not going to sit here and rip him for it yet. I think the Ben Affleck lie is pretty substantial, though. I'm not going to lie. So, yeah, and Gumpy says, if I were in Zach's place, I would laugh at the company and clown them on every chance I get. And, I don't necessarily blame you for saying something like that. It certainly shows the absolute restraint Zack Snyder has to not say things about Warner Brothers and to not rip them one, because apparently, according to a lot of people, there are things that happened in Warner Brothers DC when making Justice League. Like, we do not even have half of the story. We don't even have a quarter of the things that were going on behind the scenes. So that's how it's bad. And yes, Donovan Martin, Zach is always trying to be the bigger man, and the Claymores, Zach is a professional. 100%, I absolutely agree. Now, very interesting. It's pretty interesting that this event sells so well, sells out in 5 minutes, and ever since the Ben Affleck report, the article where he says he would never do anything in Gunn's DCU, Gunn has been very silent. He's another guy who's just been radio silence. Gunn, report in. Anyone? Nothing. He's not even talking about this Zack Snyder situation here, which is really interesting. He's not saying anything about it, which I thought if they were friends, he would be supportive of. Hey, good on you, Snyder. This is awesome. This is a great way to say goodbye to the Snyderverse and have you move on to Rebel Moon's world. But he hasn't said anything. And it's a little strange. I don't know what's going on here. Maybe there's more, or maybe, we're looking into it if you want to think about it that way. But it is not what I expected from a friend. I thought he would, on Twitter, publicly say, this is amazing and I'm so happy for him. Or maybe they are salty that a SnyderCon sold out more than a Shazam movie. Anyways, now what else do we got here? So that brings me into what I would do in this situation. I've been talking a lot. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to take a little break. I'm going to read some comments. And after I want to get more of a look on how you guys are feeling about this DCU and about this world, about what's going on with the entire situation of Warner Brothers and DC, and then I'm going to tell you what I would do, because I have been talking for, oh my god, 55 minutes. All right, so let's start up here. Okay. Yes. So, I mean, couple minutes ago, Gumpy, you said, "Oh, of course," and I lose it. But yeah, you basically said it would be stupid to fire James Gunn over not putting anything out yet, and I agree. You can't just fire him without knowing what he's gonna do yet, right? That wouldn't look good on the company. Um, I mean, firing another person apparently ahead or head of DC. So 100%. I understand. I agree with that. Zach Blobble says Zack Snyder is chill. Hero Toys. I like the DC films, and I have seen some parts of 300. I think that's what it's called. Yep. Watch 300 in its entirety. It's great. The Claymores. I loved Man of Steel, one of the few movies I watched multiple times in theaters. Absolutely. I think Man of Steel is a damn near perfect movie. It is on my top 3 of superhero films of all time. Let's see what else we got here. Donovan Martin says, I'm looking forward to Rebel Moon. So am I. I think there's a lot of cool things he's doing in Rebel Moon. And the fact that he's making a game, an RPG game, guys, I love role-playing games. My favorite video game of all time is Mass Effect. That's what I love. That's my type of game. If Rebel Moon is something like that, count me in. I'm all for it. AMD, I loved the Snyderverse 100%. I know it's a shame to see how this entire thing transpired. It is really unfortunate. What else we got here? Yeah, Donovan Martin, again, just pure incompetence on Warner Brothers' part. Exactly. Okay. Interesting. Donovan also said, I did not see this tweet. Maybe I should go look. Gunn did say he'd donate to ASFP yesterday on Twitter, but that was it. Okay. Interesting. I did not see that. Hero Toys. This situation is so terrible. I know. Anywhere from movies to direction to PR to the people, it's so bad, guys. It's so bad. Like, this is not good. Jay, not a fan of the Zack DCEU movies, more so just like his other stuff, but at this point I want his universe to come back just as a revenge against Warner Brothers. Yeah, I know. It's unfortunate how they've treated him. It really is. Anyways, I don't want to keep repeating myself now. You guys have heard what I had to say. So, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take a sip of water. My mouth needs it. And I'm going to tell you what I would do if all of a sudden I woke up tomorrow morning and I was head of this nasty, disgusting company. Okay? Give me a moment here. Let the anticipation sit in. Before I do, couple more comments here. Axel Thuin. Gunn had my interest at it more when he announced Swamp Thing got a R movie. I agree. I think that's interesting. I think having an R-rated movie and a Swamp Thing movie too is really good. I think that's great. Something that we haven't seen before. We just gotta hope that his DCU makes it that far. Josiah the Brain. I feel like the best DC movies that were made were the ones where they weren't trying to copy Marvel. Yes, exactly. I agree. Copying Marvel is not the way to go. You can copy the format. You can copy the phases if you need. You can do that. But copying the way their movies are translated on screen is not the way to go, because Marvel certainly is not for everybody, not for me especially. Okay. And this leads into my exact thoughts, Donovan. Donovan Martin says we need a break from DC right now. Yeah, we do. And here would be my plan if I was CEO of DC and Warner Brothers, either one, doesn't matter. Here's what I would do. We have not had a break in a very long time. We have been going through so many, movies that do take place in the DCEU, don't take place in the DCEU, do take place in the DCEU, but don't reference anything from the DCEU. Elseworld Stories, the CW, now a new DCU. What in the world is going on? You know, a big problem with these corporations is that when you mess up something like this so poorly, they think what they can do is within a matter of a couple of months, they can fix that issue and make you forget everything. That is not what we're going to do here. That's not what's going to happen here. Taking a break from DC doesn't mean, okay, 2024 or 2023, we're going to get all the DCEU movies. Then all of a sudden, a year and a half later, we're going to get the new DCU. People are not going to forget. You are still going to have people who want the Snyderverse. You're still going to have people who want James Gunn's new DCU. You're still going to want people who only want CW for some reason. You're still going to want people who want the HBO Max world. You're going to want people who want no part of this in general. James Gunn has inherited this company in the spoils of war. No one's on the same page. No one can connect and unite with one another. We are completely divided in the worst ways possible. And we are so divided that it almost feels like there's no quick fix to it because, well, there isn't. There's no quick fix to this. We need a break. And I know that many people, Gumpy, CW fans exist, weirdly enough, I know. This is what I would do. I know a lot of people might not like this, might not agree with me here, but this is genuinely what I would do. I would cancel the DCU. I absolutely would. That would be my first course of action. Unfortunately, there would be no need for James Gunn's services as creative lead for the DCU moving forward right now. As for 2023, the remaining movies can release because we need some sort of money. We need some sort of income that maybe we can pay off some debts. For the next 5 to 6 years, there would be no DCU. There would be no connected universe. The only DC content that we would have in the next 5 to 6 years would be Matt Reeves' Batman world and Todd Phillips' Joker world. Todd Phillips and the Batman are two movies and universes that I genuinely think most people enjoyed. And let's not to mention that the Joker made $1 billion in the box office, and the Batman, if not affected by COVID in some way, could have potentially hit 800-900 million, maybe even a billion. So, no more DC movies for the next 5 to 6 years. You would get one, two, no, you'd get one DC movie from the Batman and then one DC movie from the Joker. I would let those worlds finish because they would have absolutely no correlation to a DCU. People would realize, yeah, the DCU is over. It's done right now. I would let them finish their vision, and then when they're done, this would bring us to 2028 possibly. Then I would announce a DCU is incoming. It's on the way. And then 2029, you could reveal the plan, and then maybe 2030 is when you would get the plan kickstarted. That is probably what I would do. 2028, you would announce a DCU's on the way. 2029, you share the plan. 2030 is your first movie. That's what I would do. We don't just need a year or a 2 break for a DCU. We need 5 years, maybe even 6 if it takes that long. We need a palate cleanser. We need just a breather because this is too much. We find ourselves in so many situations where we're disappointed, we're mad, we're upset, we're angry, we're divided, we're not all on the same page. We find ourselves in this situation too much. You know, the way I would do it too is, look, Marvel has owned for the past 10 years. They've owned this market for the past 10 years. And I would say, you know what? Take the next 5 years. Go ahead. It's fine. Take them. Because then when we come back, we're going to drop some straight heaters. Some straight movie magic that is going to steal the spotlight. No more quantity, people. We need quality. That's what we need from a DCU, and we're not getting it right now, and nothing is proving to me that we are. I know a lot of people are sitting here saying James Gunn is already doing it, but I have no proof, and we have to wait for that to happen. If I was in charge, I would stop the DCU for the next 5 years and maybe try again later in the future. I know not everyone would agree with that. I know maybe some people would agree with that. That's just how I see it. I think it needs to be done. There's too much right now. We're too divided. A 1.5 year break from a DCEU to a DCU is not enough. You are still going to have a massive amount of fans who either don't want this new DCU or want no part of DC in general. And that's going to affect sales. That's going to hurt. It 100% will. I don't see any other way around it other than taking a solid break right now. So, that's just how I feel. That's how I see it. Now, it's time to get into the comment section. I'm going to read some of your comments. Let me know what you guys think. Let's hang out for a little bit. Yeah, let's see. Let's see some of the discourse going on here. Okay, AMD, I enjoyed Guardians from Gunn. I hope he makes good films. I absolutely do, as well as everybody else in the chat here does as well. Yeah. Let's see. Hit that like button, everyone. Once again, hit that like button if you're new here. Hit that subscribe too. Let's grow this community. Donovan Martin, I'd equate this to a computer heating up when it's hot. It won't work unless a cool down happens or maybe a student being burnt out in college with no breaks. Absolutely. It's bad. It's too much unnecessary DC content at one time with no sense making. There's no sense that's being made upon these piles of movies. That's what I'm talking about, Claymores. That's what I'm talking about. The break strategy would bring in lots of sales when DC returned. Exactly. Because you wouldn't be returning with, hey guys, new DCU, and it's going to be a Atom movie or a Hawkman Hawkgirl movie. You would take a much needed break and you would hit people with a Superman film or a Batman film. You'd hit them hard, you'd hit them heavy. You know? So I agree. 100%. 100%. All right. Gumpy, what do you say here? Do you think they should release DC animated theatrically? I want to see Superman vs. the Elite on the big screen. Yeah, that would be kind of cool if they started releasing DC animated movies in theaters. I think that would be neat. I'd be in for that. Oh my gosh. YouTube chat. When you're scrolling and then it just brings you all the way to the bottom. So stupid. Sorry, I gotta find my place here. Okay. Hunter, I know this is to AMD, but I'm actually going to comment on this. What is your thoughts on Zack Snyder only centering around the main 5 Justice League team, not adding other least known characters from the DCU? I hear that one a lot, and I'm going to say I actually don't mind it. And mainly because Zack Snyder only had a 5-movie vision. It's not until Patty came in and said, I want to do a Wonder Woman. And then David Ayer came in, I want to do a Suicide Squad. And a big reason for that is Warner Brothers wanted to push these characters and make a bigger DC universe. Zack only wanted to do 5 movies. So I think in a 5-movie anthology, I think it works perfectly with only the main characters. But in a DCU that has to stretch 10, 15, and forever years, which is what you would want, yeah, you need to use all characters around. So, yeah. Claymore says Green Lanterns being a show and Authority being a film is a red flag to me. I agree. I am actually not so against the Authority movie as I was when they first announced it. I'm still very cautious about it because I don't fully know why we need it right now. But 100%, Green Lantern should be a movie and the Authorities should be an HBO Max show. I absolutely agree with that 100%. YouTube chat, yo. Don't be playing with me like this. Donovan says, something tells me that the Blue Beetle might never come out, even with the promise of a trailer soon. Could you imagine that? I actually completely forgot that movie was coming out, but could you imagine that? Imagine months away from its release and they're like, yeah, no, tax break, tax write-off, sorry, see ya. So many bridges you're burning. I mean, you've already burnt them with the Batgirl film, which I heard is an absolute monstrosity. I'm not surprised. But wow, that would be crazy. Hero Toys, who is my favorite DC character? My favorite DC character is Batman. My favorite thing in life may genuinely be Batman. He honestly would be. There is nothing more in this world than I love more than Batman. Batman, 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 Batman. It's just Batman. With that comes the love for DC and Justice League. I absolutely love and respect Superman, but Batman is my main man. He's my main guy. Batman over everything. Let's see what we got. Guys, thank you for these comments. Thank you for this chat. This is great. This is awesome. This is a lot of fun. The Claymores, what did you say here? Did you watch the Justice League animated series? Am I crazy for wanting a movie universe building up to them having a spaceship headquarters? Absolutely not. You're not crazy for that. That would be so sick. That would be so awesome. I do remember back in October, November, when Gunn was recently appointed DC Studios CEO, he did respond to someone on Twitter where he said that the Justice League animated series was being used as a not a template, but he was using a lot of that cartoon for inspiration for the future. So never say never. That's a possibility. That would be awesome. Hannah, thank you so much. Congrats on the first stream. Really appreciate it. All right. That's a good question. Josiah the Brain says, who do you think would be the hardest DC characters to cast? That is very, 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 very interesting. I've never thought about that before. Who would be the hardest DC character to cast? You know what? I'm gonna think about that one. Let me get back to you. That's a thinker. That one's a thought processor there. If Green Arrow gets a project from Hungry Almighty, movie or TV show, I think show because Batman exists and is already getting a movie. I agree. I think Green Arrow would probably work better as a TV show the way he did for the CW. Now that people know more about Green Arrow though over the years, because with CW comes people who aren't really fans of comic books, right? But that's one thing I got to say about CW. The CW brought fans who want, Pretty Little Liars and Gossip Girl. They got a lot of them to watch some of these DC shows. So now what I would wonder is, would a Green Arrow movie in theaters actually be bigger than it would have been maybe 5 or 10 years ago? Because a lot more general audiences know about Green Arrow today. That would be really interesting. Josiah the Brain says, for me, the hardest would be the younger characters like the Titans or Legion of Superheroes, just to keep them young. Yeah, I could see that being difficult, because the whole thing would be, you gotta cast them at a certain age for one moment. And then, you can't get younger, right? So all of a sudden, if you use them 2 years later and they're still in the Teen Titans, but in timeline form, they're maybe 14, all of a sudden they're 16, 17, 18, but in timeline form, they've only moved forward 1-2 years. That could be difficult. Casting young people is definitely a hard thing. I agree with you on that one. Axel says, Batman and his universe are amazing. Could not agree anymore. All right. Diesel Demon, I missed it. Did he say Batman? Yes, I said Batman. That is my number one favorite thing in the world. Nothing will ever beat Batman for me. Nothing. There are a couple very close seconds, but Batman. Donovan, I hope the animated Batman Beyond movie is the answer to the Spider-Verse movie. You know what? I saw a lot of reports about that Batman Beyond movie. I didn't make a video about it. Maybe I should have. That would have been really interesting. It's funny growing up a Batman fan and spending the next almost 12 to 15 years learning everything I can about Batman. When I was younger, I wasn't a huge fan of Batman Beyond. Don't really know why. Didn't really like him. Wasn't my thing. But the older I've gotten, the more I've appreciated him. And I think a Batman Beyond film. I think a Batman Beyond film being like a Batman into the Batverse, I think that would be really cool. I would be in for that. YouTube chat, bro. They gotta fix that. Why does it keep doing that? That's also interesting too, Jay. Wonder Woman and Aquaman are the hardest to cast for me, to be honest. Yeah, because I think you can honestly do a lot of different races. Like, I think Wonder Woman can look more like, for example, Gal Gadot's Middle Eastern, right? She's Israeli. You can go Middle Eastern for Wonder Woman. You can go Greek, so a little more tan skin. You can go some sort of European. You can go, Canadian American, like you can go white. You can do that with her. There's a lot of different variations you can do with Wonder Woman. Same with Aquaman. You can do the typical, almost kind of white Irishman, but just with blonde hair instead of red hair. You can do the Jason Momoa route. You can do a lot of different casting choices for those characters. I absolutely agree. Sean Franklin, do I think there will be another DC fandom? I don't know, because now that COVID isn't a factor and you have Comic Con in San Diego, they might just ignore the DC fandom. They might just go back to San Diego again, since that's how big it is. Unless, you start making some good decisions, you start doing some really good things, some really great big movies, and your PR's better, and your DC fandom can thrive. You can have your little own event. The way like Star Wars has Star Wars Celebration, you could do that. Um, do I like Red Tornado, says Blobbles. And yes, I do. I do really like Red Tornado. I think he's really cool. From the small parts we saw of him in the Justice League animated series 2, he is really neat. He would be a cool character to see in live action. And if the Justice Society from the Black Adam movie sticks around in some capacity and we get something from him, or something from the Justice Society, I would love if Red Tornado was part of that group. That would be really neat. Ah, yeah. Axel, a Nightwing movie? Yeah, I think that's definitely on the table. Look, I don't agree with James Gunn using Damian Wayne as the Robin in the Batman movie. I don't like Damian Wayne. Like, I really cannot stand his Robin or his character. I'm a Tim Drake guy, and if not Tim Drake, Dick and Jason are absolutely awesome. I love their characters. I love those three. Damian's just not my thing. But regardless of that. Um, yeah, with Damien, that was my thought. Sorry, with Damien, being the Robin, or I think a Nightwing movie is possible, because I think they understand that instead of maybe starting from the beginning of the Bat family, which I thought they were going to do, they're already established, and maybe a Nightwing movie is in discussion. They know that, a lot of people have wanted to see Nightwing, and just in case, in general, Robin on the big screen, and maybe they could give you a Nightwing movie. So that's definitely a possibility. Oh, Anna Lacandro, thank you so much for the $13.99. I really appreciate it. That is awesome, fantastic, and thank you for being here in general. Great first stream, she says. Awesome, thank you so much. All right, where was I here? Okay. See, yeah, that's a really good point, Josiah. It's like the guy who played Billy Batson. You could tell how much bigger he got from the first movie. 100% agree. I don't know if his age is actually translated to the timeline of the movie. He might even be older. What's his name again? No, no, no. Let me find it here. Because he's 17 in Fury of the Gods. Asher Angel. That's what it is. He is. Oh, yeah, see? He's 20. He's 20. He's 20 years old. That's not easy. I mean, when he was in the first Shazam film, he would have been what? 14, 15? That makes a little more sense. You can tell he's an adult now. You're right about that. That's not easy. Casting kids, as my light goes out, casting kids is not an easy thing to do. 100%. I agree with you. Let's see. Let's see. Hungry Almighty, yeah. Do you see Gunn doing Titans or Young Justice? That's a great question. That's a really good question. Both? Could I say both? I could see him honestly translating Titans into a movie. I could see Titans being a movie. Young Justice would be a TV show. Although, if you view them as too similar, he's going to do Titans. 100% he'll do Titans. And then as the universe expands, I think what he would do is he would turn Titans into a Young Justice as time goes on. Or maybe they do become two separate groups. But yeah, that's a great question. And I think he's going to do Titans. That's what I think. And Claymores, thank you so much for the $11. I really appreciate it. Very kind of you. And honestly, thank you for being in the chat. This is awesome. All right. Josiah says, for me, Wonder Woman should be tall, like 5'9", 5'11", and look like the one from the Justice League animated. Yeah, I like that. I really do. Have you guys? I think let me pull it up here. I'm sure a lot of you have, but let's see if you guys have seen how Wonder Woman looks in Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League. She actually, I do really like her in this one because she's Greek, right? And she looks, or Greek mythology, and she looks Greek. Like, that's pretty good. That's solid. Now, look at her compared to the one in the Wonder Woman game. These games are clearly not connected unless what's the company doing the Wonder Woman game? Monolith. Unless Monolith has decided to change to this design and maybe it is connected in some way. I doubt it though. But regardless, I do like that look of her. I mean, let's look at her in Justice League animated. I mean, that's OG. That's classic. Yeah, like come on. That's a classic Wonder Woman. That is awesome. I mean, that was my first crush as a kid, you know? Come on, you can't go wrong with that one. So, yeah, I mean, there's a ton of options you can do. There's a ton of options you can do with Wonder Woman, but yeah. All right. Let's see what we're doing here. No way, Donovan. Developing story, Jonathan Majors being accused of assaulting a woman. Really? That's crazy. Hopefully that's not true. Hopefully that is not true. Claymores, I agree. I couldn't, he says, I couldn't watch Brave and the Bold. Not my style. 100%, I absolutely agree. It was not my thing. When I said that, though, I was berated with so many comments who were just like absolutely against me. They were like, how dare you? Okay, it's not my thing, though. Art style, acting, all of it, it just wasn't for me. I'm with you. Hero Toys. Damien is my favorite Robin. Okay. All right. Hey, we all got our preferences, right? And that's what these characters are here for. We're all here to, have our favorites, least favorites. All right. I'm not going to hold that against you. All right. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Hey, Donovan, I have to go right now, but really great stream and can't wait for more. Thank you for being in the chat, my friend. I will talk to you very soon, and I'll see you in a new chat eventually. Hungry Almighty, for Martian Manhunter, do you think he'll get a TV show or a movie? In my opinion, I don't think he'll get either because he doesn't really have his own cast of characters and his relationships are with the League. It is very interesting that you say that last part there. It's not often that Martian is got his own class of characters. A lot of the people he deals with are with other people, which is very interesting. He doesn't have a developed gallery of friends and villains the way that like a Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Lantern, Flash do, right? That's interesting, yeah. If Martian was to get anything, I would love it to be a movie. To be honest with you, I think he's too cool of a character for a show. So if you're not going to do a movie, don't do anything at all. That's just how I'd put it. Wow. Hunter, did you know that Linda Carter is Latina? No, I did not know, and now I do know. Thank you for the information. That's really surprising. Interesting. What is she? Is she like, is it South American Latina or is it like Spain Latina? Hungry Almighty again says, to be honest, I don't think Nightwing and Green Arrow will get a movie because Batman already exists. So no Nightwing and Green Arrows. Yeah, it's too similar to Batman. I get it. Both rich, uses gear to fight crime. 100%. I can understand that. You might be right on that. Maybe it is too much. Josiah says a Martian Manhunter movie could be about him getting used to Earth. You could even then do a ton of flashbacks of him on Mars from thousands of years ago. That would be really cool too. Blobbles, yeah. Blobble says they're making a Wonder Woman game. Yes, they are. There's even a teaser trailer. If you just go on YouTube, search up Wonder Woman teaser trailer game. It's by Monolith. If you guys have never played it, I really suggest you do. They are the company who made the Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War games, which are the Lord of the Rings games. One of my favorite video game series of all time, and they're handling Wonder Woman. I think it's gonna be really cool. So yeah, check out the trailer. Gumpy says, "How dare you, TMM? Brave and the Bold is the best interpretation of Batman ever, and you better accept it or else things will get frisky." Yeah, I know. You should have seen some of the comments I was getting when I simply just said, "Yeah, it wasn't my type of show. Wasn't really a fan of it." Oh my God, it's like the world ended. Blobble says, "A dead man movie." Ooh. A dead man movie, eh? I genuinely don't really know if I would do a dead man movie. He would certainly be part of a Justice League Dark movie, but his own film, personally, I would pass. Unless someone pitched me a film and I was like, whoa, that's different. That's different. The Overlord. Yeah, so the Overlord says Austin Butler as Arrow. I have heard this before. There's even been huge rumors that he was supposed to be Green Arrow. I don't really know what happened there. But I don't know. It's interesting. I don't know if any of you have seen the Elvis movie, but he was so damn good in Elvis, almost to the point where he might have actually been Elvis. I'm not too sure. He's had to take a break for a little while because from what he states, like he still pulls out Elvis every now and then. It's not. I mean, you don't want to get lost like that, right? Look what happened to Heath Ledger. Not saying that Elvis is a damaged person like that, but you want to be yourself at the end of the day. I don't know how much truth there is to that rumor. Would I be okay with it? Yep. I do think Austin Butler is a high-tier actor already who can do a lot of things. So yeah, I'd be good with it. But I'd also be good with Charlie Hunnam, which has been a huge fan cast for a long time. So, yeah. Axel. He says, "T.M.M, do you prefer to see Mongol or Despero?" That's another great question. And another hard one to answer. Oh my God. You know what? Both. I can't answer you. Both. I think both are really... No, you know what? Okay. I will answer you. I'll go Mongol. I think Mongol might be a better fit for the DCU overall. I'll go Mongol. But I'm not saying no to Despero. Yeah, exactly, Sean. Just like I said, what if Charlie Hunnam played Green Arrow? I agree, definitely. Yeah, and you know what, though? Even though I do go Mongol, Gumpy, you might be right. Despero would most likely be used by James Gunn, for sure. Axel, Elvis was good. I agree, man. It 100% was. It's been a long time since we've seen an actor dive that deep into a character. We haven't seen someone do that in quite some time. Claymore says, the question is a weird, fun character that Gunn might be interested in. I was asked recently by somebody, would they ever use the question? I can't remember who asked me that. But yeah, I 100%. Yeah. I think the question would be so cool to show up in a Batman movie too. That would be really neat. I think there was a string of episodes. Regardless, I loved the episodes of the question in the Justice League animated series. That was a ton of fun. Yes, Hungry Almighty. I hope the DCU Batman has fight scenes equivalent to what we see in the Arkham video games. A lot of people tend to forget Batman is master martial artist of over 100 MMA forms. Man, the guy could Bruce Lee it and make his own form if he wanted to. Batman is another level of that stuff. 100% agree. What's the movie I'm thinking of right now? The Raid. Raid 1 and 2. Have you guys seen the fight scenes in The Raid? I would take inspiration from The Raid and John Wick, and basically say Batman fight scenes for the future have to look like this 100%. Hungry Almighty says, I feel like if DC ever introduces Kyle Rayner as the main Lantern, then Green Lantern needs to turn into a movie. Really? I already would have thought that if it was Hal or John, they would have already been movie material. That's interesting. I mean, Kyle and Guy Gardner are going to have to be introduced eventually. That's definitely something I can agree with there. And the Hungry also, again, he says, to be honest, I don't think Constantine or Zatanna need their own movie because those two are the main characters of Justice League Dark regardless. Yeah, to be honest with you, I don't think many people from Justice League Dark need their own movie. Swamp Thing, sure. Dr. Fate, I would like to see Dr. Fate get his own film. That would be really cool. But yeah, maybe not everyone. Like Zatanna, I would be good with a show. I think Zatanna would have a good premise for a TV show. Michael Pasalic, who would win in a fight, Batman or Chuck Norris? I don't like those types of questions in my chat, Michael Pasalic. Get out of here. No, I'm just kidding. It's a hard matchup. Probably Bat Norris. That's what I would go with. All right. Ryan says, I'm looking forward to all the DCU slate, and mostly I'm interested in seeing the Authority and Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. I've been watching your content since the slate and never stop. Ryan, thank you so much, buddy. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting my channel. Really, really appreciate it. Yeah, what I am interested about Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, though, is... So, is it going to be like directly stripped from the comic book? Or, yeah, that's what I want to know. I want to know if it's going to be directly stripped from the comic book, or if it's going to be like its own thing with the title, or if it's going to be a bit of both. Because, I mean, they have a fantastic opportunity just to go straight off the Tom King novel, and I mean, it was a great series. So, yeah, I'm interested to see what they're doing there. Claymores, I loved your idea of Zatanna being a core JL member, but then finding JL Dark. Yes, if anyone hasn't seen it, that is from my DC, my fixed DCU video. If I were to ever make a DCU, it was a rough draft video. It still is not completely how I would make it. It's just a generalized idea of what a DCU could look like. And yeah, in my universe, I would have Zatanna find Justice League Dark. She would be the founder of it, and she would go around recruiting everybody like Dr. Fate and Swamp Thing, John Constantine, Deadman, all those characters. Blobbles says, who would win in a fight, Booster Gold or Booster Gold? I'm gonna go Gooster Bold. I think he would have the upper hand. Yeah, 100% difficult fight, but I think he would take it. Chuck Norris advantage, extra fist in his beard. Yeah, you might be right. I mean, but then again, Batman's a gadget dude too. Maybe he's got something in the ears, you know? You never know. That could be a possibility. Guys, thank you so much for keeping this chat lively. This is a ton of fun. This is fantastic. I am loving it. You know what? For my first stream ever, this is a great turnout. It was a lot of fun. But, okay, I'm going to stick around for another 10 minutes. I got to get going around 8. So shoot your questions as quick as you can now. I'll spend the next 12 minutes looking through them. The Claymores. Claymore says, I want Justice League Dark movie so bad. Well, remember back in 2017, Guillermo del Toro was attached to a Justice League Dark film, and apparently that film was supposed to be connected to what Zack Snyder was doing with his universe. Man, a Justice League Dark movie in a Snyderverse model, that would have been awesome. I mean, the Justice League Dark alone is already cool, but using them in the fashion of a world that Snyder has created, that'd be crazy. I'd be all for it. Blobbles, do you think the JSA should be from the past or a different universe? Huh. Past. Past. If they were to pull a different universe, I wouldn't have any problem with it. I wouldn't. But yeah, I'd go past. I think there's like a feel the JSA has, their costumes, the world they come from. They do look very World War II esque, maybe even 50s or 60s if you want. Yeah, I'd go past. I do like that. Uh, yeah, Claymores. Claymore says, yes, I remember. Del Toro was a perfect fit for JL Dark. I agree. I agree. I think he would have been awesome, and I think he would have brought, of course, we all know the Snyder world was a dark world, okay? Justice League Dark needs to bring that darkness. Hey, it's in their name, it's in their powers, their abilities, the people they are. They're already dark. But Del Toro would have brought darkness to it. And he would have given it some sort of horror thriller vibe. I can guarantee you that right now. Never say never. Maybe they open the door for it again. That would be fantastic. Let's see what else we got here. See if there's any comments of yours I missed. Once again, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate all the support this chat is getting and this live stream. It's been a great first live stream for sure. I don't want to keep harboring on this, but if you guys can hit the like button so that this can get pushed out to a ton of people. Really want to grow this community, and yeah, it'd be a great time. Let's see what else we got. Yeah, a lot of you are saying that Del Toro is perfect. 100%. Look at his track record. Like, look at what he was capable of doing with the Hellboy movies. Whether or not you agree with the story, the production is Del Toro-esque. I mean, look what The Shape of Water, which might honestly be one of his best movies of all time, if not his best movie. He could do it so well. It'd be so great. Yeah, Axel says a Zatanna movie. Yeah, I mean, I would 100% be okay with Zatanna getting her own movie. I would 100% be okay with Zatanna getting her own TV show. I think Zatanna does need a little bit more love here. And I mean, I know we don't always need to say that Batman needs to be connected and shown to everyone. But Batman, just like the Question, he would be another really great character to introduce Zatanna to the world, or to have a Zatanna appearance, or for a Batman appearance in Zatanna. It would be a great move. Axel says again, an Etrigan movie. Um, I don't want to say yes. Sorry, I don't want to say no, and I don't want to say yes, because I think Etrigan would add a completely different flair that DC could benefit from. I just don't know how many people would care about an Etrigan movie. He could certainly be a really good supporting character in somebody else's show, though. I will say that. Hungry Almighty says, I never meant Jordan and Stuart aren't movie material, but they already doing a show. So, oh, okay, I see. So when Kyle comes later, then do a movie. Okay, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Agreed. Axel says Hellboys 1 and 2 perfection. I definitely Hellboy 1 100% agree with that. I think Hellboy 1 was fantastic, and whatever mess they tried to create a couple years ago, yeah, not good. Not good at all. And now they're trying again, apparently. I don't know if it's a movie or a show, but they already casted the guy who's going to play Hellboy. So many reboots nowadays, guys. It's getting too much. Gumpy says, sorry, I missed your last comment there, Gumpy. But Gumpy says, what do you think about my last comment? Should Warner Brothers compete with both Marvel and Japan by making the DCAU cinematic, pushing the limits of animation with each movie? Or are you dead set on... No, I'm not dead set on live action. Live action has its place, and so does animation. And I would 100% be in to see the animated world blow up for DC. Let's be honest here. There are a lot of people out there who to this day will say the only thing of DC that works is gaming and animation. And I mean, look at their track record with animation. Look, I will say what I will about the new 52 animated movies. They weren't really my thing, but overall, they have been damn near perfect with animation. So I'd be for it. I'm in. The Claymore says Zatanna would sell like crazy. She's a fun, sexy magician. You're right. Honestly, and sex sells. Let's be honest here. It does. She would bring in a lot of attention, especially too if because there was a rumor that this was going to happen, especially if it was Dua Lipa. Because I know a lot of people have wanted to cast Dua Lipa as Zatanna, and there have even been rumors about it. If it was Dua Lipa as Zatanna, yeah, that would bring in a lot of people. Yes, dialogue is hard for Etrigan. I agree, it is. And once again, I think Etrigan would really be well suited for a supporting actor or supporting character role. You think, Sean Franklin says, you think James Gunn will use Plastic Man like Matthew Lillard as Plastic Man? Yeah, I heard about that. Like years ago, when they worked on a project together, they were pitching a Plastic Man starring Matthew Lillard. That would be really interesting. Excuse me. There's actually somebody else I think who is just absolutely perfect for the Plastic Man character. If any of you are fans of Parks and Recreation the way I am, you guys will probably know who I'm talking about. It is Ben Schwartz. He would be perfect for Plastic Man. A couple months ago, he even posted on his Twitter that he would be interested in playing Plastic Man. I think he would be perfect. That's a hashtag I'm going to start. I'm going to start it right now. Hold on. Hopefully I spelt his name right. There we go. Ben Schwartz, Plastic Man. All right, what we got? And honestly, if you guys, I just got to mention it one more time. If you guys have never seen Parks and Recreation, just look up his scenes in Parks and Recreation. He has 100% Plastic Man energy, definitely. Hero Toys says, I would like an Injustice Gods Among Us movie or show. Yes, agreed. I love the video games. I think they're so much fun, and I think the stories are solid. The comic books were fun too. They tried that animated movie, and it was an absolute failure. It was so bad. If you haven't watched it, do not watch it. The only thing about an Injustice show or movie, it would have to stay to animation because a lot of people are sick and tired of the evil Superman trope. Personally, I'm not. I love evil Superman, but I get it. So if they're ever going to make it live action, they have to wait a little while. Yeah, Claymores, I agree. Zatanna would bring in non-superhero watchers as well, 100%. That's what I'm talking about. Ben Blobbles, Ben Schwartz would be a pretty good Plastic Man. Yeah. Yes. AMD, I agree. Parks and Rec, hilarious. It absolutely is. The Claymores, Ben Schwartz, is hilarious. I support the hashtag. Yeah. He even did a comedy. I can't remember what it was called. Um, oh my goodness, he did like a stand-up improv with I can't remember the other guy's name, but he's so good. He's such a good comedian. He'd be great. Hungry Almighty, do you think after the Reeves trilogy, will Warner Brothers really stop doing alternate Batman stories with Robert Batman, or just stop doing alternate Batman stories in general? Yeah, that's a great question because it seems like the studio can't get enough of Batman. Like, I'm not complaining, as you guys can tell, but yeah, I think Batman would need a break for a little while. I think it would be smart just to keep him to the DCU if the DCU succeeds. Ooh, Mike Paslick says, "Did you like the pics of Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn that were just released?" Yeah, I did. I think she looks good. I've got no problem with it, especially too. It's an Elseworld story, right? So you do whatever you want. This does not need to stay comic accurate in any way. You do your own thing. But considering it's like part musical, I get why they casted her. But regardless, even the non-musical parts, I think she'll do a good job. Hungry Almighty says, "Are you a Marvel fan as well? Do you do Marvel content or just DC?" Yeah, look, I don't hate Marvel in any way. A lot of my childhood stems from some of the comic books I read. Marvel, used to be a huge Spider-Man fan, as many kids are. Um, but yeah, I'm not an MCU guy. I'm not a huge fan of it. Like, I can list maybe on one hand all the MCU movies I think are like immaculate, like they're really good. Iron Man 1, Captain America Winter Soldier, um the first Avengers, yeah, Avengers Infinity War, 110%. And even though I have a problem with time travel used so poorly in movies, and Endgame misused it very poorly, I do really like Endgame. Overall, yeah, Marvel's not really my thing. There are some things I do like about Marvel. Like, I love X-Men. Logan, Spider-Man 2 are probably the best Marvel movies ever made. Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire, that is. I love X-Men. I like Spider-Man. Some things about Marvel are okay, but it's not my favorite. I am mainly a DC guy. Yeah, Claymore's Wolverine was the first comic I got as a kid. Yeah, and I think it's really cool. I don't know if you're Canadian, but like, as for me, since I'm Canadian, I do think it is really cool that like Wolverine is a Canadian character. So representing our country here, it's pretty cool. All right, guys. Well, I gotta get heading out. I gotta get done. This was a fantastic live stream. This was a ton of fun, and I hope you all had a great time. Hey, Claymores, LOL, I'm Canadian. Good stuff. But this is going to happen more often. We're going to have more live streams. We're going to have a great time, more discussions, more topics. Hope everything went well for my first live stream ever. And once again, guys, make sure if you are new here, like, subscribe, share. Let's push this live stream out. Let's get the community growing. But yeah, that's it for this one, guys. So until next time, I'll talk to you all very soon. Thanks for coming. Peace.